Right, so welcome back to Ventures 82. It's been a while. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas. It's now 2025. It's snowing up here in North Yorkshire, so I've got Wensley Bridge here just behind me, and as you can see it's nothing but grey, which the clouds is immaterial, but look at the snow.
Onto your hood.
Kids are with me, as you can see. But it's very picturesque. It's like one big white blanket of snow. So, got the GoPro with me today. Reason I've got the GoPro, big camera is not waterproof, GoPro is, simple as that. So there may be some sound issues, because as we're fully aware, I still haven't been able to find the media mod for the GoPro 9 yet. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be walking down here, and we're going to take, there's a little staircase there, and we're going to have a look and a short walk down by the River Yor in the snow. As you can just see Lydia there in the corner of my screen. We also have the dog. So let's go for a stroll down by the River Yor. Right, so here we are. Look, very picturesque, very Christmas cardy actually, a bit like our last year with Jersey when it snowed last year, which is a rarity over there. So it's very, very pretty. It's warming up a little bit now, so you can see the snow starting to melt a tad. Not that it'll make an awful lot of difference, because the temperature's supposed to drop again today. Tonight to about -3. Yeah. And then we'll be back to square one. I've got to try, because it's kind of half snow, half ice, not to slip on my backside as I'm walking around here. But yeah, so the River Yor, wow, see what I mean? Slippy. Right, so the River Yor's been having its own issues recently. So the River Yor, about a week or so ago, if you're in the UK, you'll know there was some quite heavy rain up north as the weather front passed over. That heavy rain caused a lot of areas to flood. One of them was here at Wensley, because you can see the River Yor there is reasonably low now, but a couple of weeks ago it wasn't, and it comes over on the other side there where you would normally come down for the walk, and Wensley's actually down in a slight dip from where the bridge is. So the water gathered, and that was flooded for I think a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. So the River Yor has been having its issues. You can see at the moment though, hello, it's quite low. You can see there, really is quite low at the moment. You can kind of see the stones and things in the bottom. That will rise substantially once all this snow starts to melt and all starts flowing its way back into the River Yor, trying to clear. Although it's not as dry as it can be, because in like the summer, this arch here, that's normally completely bone dry. It's normally this main section here that stays flowing. So the fact that's flow shows it's still reasonably full. So this is a small section of woodland just by the River Yor here. We've been here a couple of times, normally with the dogs. There's 2 paths. One walks along the edge of the River Yor here, which, and I mean like right on the edge, you may be like a couple of centimetres from the edge of the bank, which probably in this weather isn't advisable in case you slip and fall in. That's a whole load of issues there, including possible pneumonia, so we're not going to go for that route. So we're going to go for the top route up here. Just go for a brief walk around the River Yor, and have a look round. Not being able to get to anything because of weather like this, and then when it flooded. The interesting thing is we're on a road called the A683, I think, 687, something like that. And it's the main road. It goes through Leyburn, goes through, comes out, goes through Wensley, up into the Yorkshire Dales, through West Witton onwards to Ayersgarth, and goes all the way through, up through into Hawes, and then eventually up into Garsdale. However, the road floods at certain areas. When it flooded the other week, two of the areas that are the most known for flooding flooded. Here at Wensley, and the other area that flooded, which was up at Ayersgarth, and it flooded again down by near Askrigg and Hawes. And the problem with that means is that when you have Wensley flooded, and these are the other two, you're kind of isolated as far as West Witton's concerned, because you can't drive either way out. So that's the situation we found ourselves in. However, my dripping wet camera, look at that. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go and have a look at have a quick walk around here. Try not to get covered in snowballs by Charlotte and Blaze. And yeah, I'll reconvene with you guys in a bit. You can see what I mean. The water dripping from the trees is taking the snow on the path kind of slushy, which is actually more slippy than the snow is. Luckily I've got quite chunky camping boots. I bought them because once the snow is kind of passed, so we're looking at probably, depends on the weather exactly, but we're looking probably round about back end of March, beginning of April. Me and Eric are looking to start get cracking on the camping videos. There may be some camping related ones before that, however, but they'll be to do with like showing you our equipment we've picked up, having a look at it, how it works, how good or not it is, that kind of stuff. I'm hoping, because it's supposed to thaw out the back end of this week, to get out next week and get the last couple of stations done for the Wensdale Railway for you, so those should be coming kind of ASAP. The end of January, who he says, almost falling on his own arse. The end of January, we've got our new channel coming out, which is going to be, I mentioned this briefly in the other one, so I'm not going to go on about it again, but it's going to be more about me, less about the history. So it's going to be stuff that I'm interested in. So fixing electronics will predominantly be the theme, but there will be other bits and pieces in between. So if you're into like old computer game consoles, music equipment, that kind of stuff, have a nose at that. I haven't, the new channel is going to be launching, like I say, in January. I haven't, the only reason it's hold up is because I haven't had a chance to make the proper logo and stuff for YouTube yet, so I'm doing that next. But keep an eye for that. I'll put a link in it once it's launched, and you guys can have a nose, see if it's your kind of thing. There will be some videos on that when it launches, because I recorded some earlier on back end of last year, which is why there was part of why there was such a large hiatus. Again, I mentioned this in the previous video, if you want to know about all that, go back and watch my last one before Christmas. So, because I don't want to go on about the same stuff. This is the interesting thing about this kind of forest, if you like, kind of woodland area, is it's got little streams like this. Now if you're from Jersey, you'll be aware that there's a little stream like this that runs all the way through an area of Jersey called St Catherine's Woods. You'll definitely remember it if you were a kid who grew up in the 80s or 90s and was taken out by playgroups, summer schools, that kind of thing, because they used to take you out to play games like, well, it has like Buzz Me, 4040, it's all kind of the same thing. Modified kind of hide and seek kind of thing, capture the flag, that kind of stuff. They take you out to do that, and quite a few kids back in the day would climb into the stream, because this is the summer obviously, and hide underneath the little wooden bridges. Most of those bridges and that pathway and that stream in fact are now covered and buried in the overgrowth over in Jersey, for shame to the States. However, it still maintains a very pretty area. I just think it's quite nice that Wensleydales is kept clear, so you can actually see it running. So this is where, pardon me, this is where your stream starts, and you can see here how bad, like, some of the places are still flooded from last week. So like, this is actually a field, would you believe, and it's still got quite a bit of flooding there from the stream and the river. So we should get to a section in a moment where there's a bridge, if I remember correctly. I say if I remember correctly because I came here last about, see, look, the snow's gone now. I came here last about 3-4 months back. So I've only been here twice, and the other time before that was right back in the summer when we first got here to get some fresh air, because I was bored of being in and unpacking stuff, and I was getting on everybody's nerves. So yeah, we will go in this way, and there should be a bridge up here. But any of you who are used to my channel will know that my memory is absolutely shocking. So don't be surprised if I'm not quite right about this one. My memory on a lot of things, like my trains and my railways and my history based stuff, awesome. My memory about telling you about electronics that I'm telling you about, which will be on the other channel, awesome. My memory about where I've been, exactly where the fuck things are on the path, until I've done it about 5 or 6 times, awful. So luckily I'm good enough at navigating that I can normally find my way out of a situation, so I'm not too worried. But my memory is no good. I've got more like a picture style memory, so I remember specific landmarks rather than the actual whole route. So that's me, I'm afraid, in all my imperfection. For those of you who've been following the channel as well, you'll be aware that once I moved here, I started looking into continuing my unfinished diagnosis of autism that I started over in Jersey. That's been somewhat of a battle as well. So currently the situation I find myself in is that my doctor's surgery refused to what's the word I'm looking for, forward me for assessment, even though they can. To make things worse, the North Yorkshire Council keep changing their mind how the system works. So it changed, I believe, back in like 2022 or something, to a do it profiler thing, which is like an online form you fill in, and the computer supposedly diagnoses whether you've got autism or not and how much you need a diagnosis. Then it moved and they changed it at the end of last year to you could have that, you could do that, or you could be forwarded to a doctor, which is how I ended up going to a doctor. But I was being forwarded for that. Now they've changed it again. However, you can still forward somebody for diagnosis. The forwarding process, however, is interesting. The forwarding process is a massive chunky form, which my mental health nurse is filling in, because as I mentioned, the GP refuses to. Another problem I've had actually over here with GPs is that, well, I don't know if it's all GPs over here, whether it's an NHS thing or whether it's just this surgery, but coming from Jersey, I had a nebulizer I brought with me because I'm asthmatic as well, and they refused point blank to give me any nebules for it. Right, so this is getting interesting, this path. So what we have here is similar to what you have on the other side. You have, like I mentioned, there's a second path over there at the edge of the river. This is a flooded area, as you can see. You're not stupid. But you can see the path is very, very close to that water. I don't want to go in that water. I don't even know how cold that water is.
Same here.
There is a divert path here that goes slightly further inland. I think I'm going to do that because I know they say that having a cold swim is good for you, but I'm not sure that means when it's got ice floating on top with it snowing and a whole load of broken tree branch in it. I'm not sure that counts as good swimming. So Blaze agrees with me, that's not good swimming. Also, check out Blaze's funky purple hat. I think that's really quite cool. Look at the squirrel. She's squirrel mad. Unfortunately, you may have seen in some of the summer videos there was a cuddly squirrel with us, or with Blaze. Who's come to be known as Mr. Squirrel. He comes with Blaze everywhere. He's not with us today, but since she got hold of Mr. Squirrel, she has been somewhat obsessed with squirrels.
He's hibernating.
So yeah, it's interesting. But I'm looking at this path here and I don't even really know what's under there. Look at it. How do you know what's... This is the kind of thing that actually, stupidly, I'm looking forward to about camping, because I don't really know what I'm going to come across, and I'm going to have to think on my feet to kind of plan my way through problems as and when they turn up. For someone like me who overthinks when their brain's not occupied, that's a good thing. For someone who gets all stressy when stuff always goes wrong, it's probably a terrible thing. See, these are completely dead. You can see again how white the fields are there in the background.
Hey, Daddy.
Look at that. Right, update on the previous situation. Sorry, I had to go there for a minute. Lydia and Charlotte fancy their chances at the path. And it's going wrong.
I'm shit at balancing! Fuck off!
So, they've almost just ended up in the cold, icy water. Was it a good plan?
Ow. No! Yeah.
So we're down here now, where we were before. Charlotte's just about managed to avoid an ice bath. And we're going to walk a little bit further down here. It's actually getting quite cold now. Snow's getting a bit harder as well. So we'll have to turn back soon, because otherwise I won't be able to get back into West Whitton. But otherwise, it's been quite a nice walk, I think. You can see how peaceful the woodland is when we're not here, can't you? Wow, there we go. Right, so I found the path that leads us back to the edge of the River Yore. So I can get you a nice close up of the river before we go, which is nice. You can see here how in places the weather's had its way, and on the edge of the river there's not so many people have been bothered to walk, because people have walked here before us today. It's very popular for dog walking. You can see here where there's another gully there. That's normally, there's normally water in there, but not today. And you can see now a bit further downstream as well, the flow of the river is much faster than it was before. This walk actually goes on for miles if you were to do it all the way through its entirety. It actually ends up taking you through to Aysgarth Falls. We're obviously not going to go that far today. Weather aside from anything else, might see if I can incorporate that walk into one of my America's camping hikes though, because I think it'll be a nice walk to do. Ayres gas station. That's going to be one of the interesting ones to try and get to film. It's owned by the gentleman who owns Crossrail, so I've got to try and get hold of him before I can film that. So that's proving interesting. I've got a few other things in the pipeline. I think this is what we're going to call it kind of quits, because you can see it's quite slippy here. The flow of the river now is substantially higher. You can probably even hear it, to be fair. Yeah, temperature's dropping now. I'm not sure what the temperature is, and I think it's because the actual temperature is like about -3 today, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that cold. Go places like Russia, certain parts even the United States, you know, and this time of the year, and it's not uncommon to get places in like the -20s or 30s, but here, although it's -3, the real feel temperature is about -8, so we're kind of halfway there. We're not really Canada, Russia, that kind of neck of the woods, like I say, North United States, but it's cold enough that, for instance, I don't really want to walk on that bit unless I slide in there. Now I'm sure there's going to be some people they're going to tell me to stop being a wuss, and it's not that bad. I don't think it is that bad. I just don't want to take the chance. So I think what we'll do is we'll call it quits from here, and that'll be the end of our walk here from the River Yore. But I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been more of a rant than anything else. If you like listening to me ramble, let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe. There is actually more interesting things I talk about than what's going on normally. And otherwise, take care of yourselves in the next video. Look after each other, and I will see you hopefully next week with a new history video, which has been on its way coming. And also goodbye from Charlotte. You can see there peeking away into the shop behind me. And I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.